Hello and welcome to Plus One to Gaming. This week's episode is the post-game discussion we had after wrapping the first session of Book of the Raven, the third adventure in Candlekeep Mysteries. As we decompress after the game, we geek out on some of the Roll20 features that streamline the game for us, figuring out our character voices and doing character voices in general, some of the role-playing decisions that we had to make, and just highlighting and celebrating the little things that the players and DM did to make this session special, at least for us. We'll be back next week with session 2, but for now, we hope you enjoy this post-game chat. Let's get into it.
That worked out.
No, that was a ton of fun.
Great.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, I'm glad.
These new features are awesome. It helps me so much.
I'm really digging it.
Because I don't have to have like 15 tabs open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a little bit to put the character sheet in, but not that long. But then once you do that, it just makes everything easier.
Well, it's worth it. Yeah, I think it's worth that initial time investment, though, especially if we know, like, oh, I'm not going to be running the game until a month from now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and once you put these characters in, like, we can just keep playing. So I was thinking about putting in the characters before.
Oh, that's true. We could go back for,
Zyzel and all them, right?
Yeah. Because I'm going to play. That's the next round is going to be them. So I'll probably end up putting them and putting them in a level 6 or whatever. Ask you guys to level them up or whatever.
Yeah. I'm so excited to bring those characters back.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm glad you like this one. I'm very glad that it was between the librarian's voice was between Will Ferrell from SNL, who can't control the timbre of his voice, and Nathan Explosion, and I went with the other character and I'm glad because Soans is basically Nathan Explosion.
Yeah. Well, so Soans is based off of Wrecker from The Bad Batch, which is a cartoon I'm watching currently.
I haven't watched that yet. Yeah,
it's excellent. You have to watch the Clone Wars first, but the Clone Wars is also excellent. But I originally wanted Soaz to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but deeper, and I absolutely cannot do Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice without having to like I didn't want. I wanted it to be like and I just couldn't keep it solid. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do Wrecker.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my favorite impersonations to do.
Yeah. So I'm gonna save it. It's gonna show up at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
when I kept making it deeper, it just switched to like Russian. I don't know why I had to like Arnold's voice. It cannot be altered.
It's tough too when you're like if you're also going like beat too low. If like if your range is too low, it's hard to do and hard to maintain.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I've been noticing with trying to make character voices is just you have to find like a sustainable pitch or range or whatever.
I didn't practice much.
I switched this on the fly today because we watched the episode last night and I was like, "Ooh, Wrecker could work," because I was gonna just mutilate the voice I'd been trying to do all week and couldn't get down.
I was on set the other day, like trying to lightly practice, but like a feminine Fae voice.
How'd that go?
But the best part is that the movie is about a trans woman, so I was like trying to keep it super down low so that like nobody thought I was like being super weird.
Voices when they're in a serious movie, you're
like, this guy's just like undermining and making fun of everything that we're.
Yeah, I was just sitting off like in a chair by the trash. It's like, hi, my name's.
No, same thing, like at work in the shower, just like being super self-conscious about practicing around people because like first of all you're talking to yourself, second of all you're talking to yourself in a weird voice and you're probably saying weird shit.
A lot of times what I do, so like when I drive to and from work, I'll listen to podcasts or music or whatever, and if I'm trying to voice, I'll just repeat what they say.
Yeah.
So I'm not like having to think of like, how are you today? Like I'll just like, this morning on NPR News, or whatever, and like I'll kind of play with it like that. But then a lot of times the next day I forget all the progress that I've made. Like it's very hard for me to like land a voice without like purely mimicking. Like if it's this plus that and then maybe slow, like I forget all of the tweaks I made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stick with ones that I know that I can do. Like if I forgot to do the big centaur librarian, and I was like, I'll do him a little whispery and quiet because he's a big centaur, and I'm like, I completely forgot.
It would have been fun too if it was like
I
super
know
high pitch.
the Midwestern one is too easy, and it's
That was fun. That was such a good accent. He was hilarious. That exchange with him, like, well, you stole it first. See, I can't do that accent. I don't know why.
Oh, I don't know. It's like the Midwestern. It's
like Fargo.
It's like almost like the Bear.
Minnesota.
It's like
or
Wisconsin,
Minnesota to Chicago. Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah,
That's
go
what
to
I was
Chicago.
doing. Because I saw that picture. I was looking through like normal looking dudes because he's a spy, like in game, like that's his character black. And I'm like, but you always think like these spies as being like dark, like ninja characters. I'm like, that's not what spies look like in real life. They look like normal dudes.
Yeah.
And so it would just be like this normal Minnesota guy who's actually a deadly killer. You didn't even know he did it.
Well, the funny thing is,
What's the funny thing, Mark?
just that I literally got sucked in personally because at first I was like, I mean, this guy just walked up and offered to help. That's suspicious. And I was like, but he seems nice.
I was trying not to metagame that, like, because I thought the same thing. Like, obviously, this person's eavesdropping and has a motive, but Leander, or like, he's just like a happy-go-lucky. He's not an adventurer. He's just accidentally in these situations, and I feel like he would just trust people and like want to share and just And that's what
I was
trying to play
thinking
to.
like, I didn't want to accept Lander outright not person because that seemed also just too meta.
Yeah.
Like we have been suspicious of the second guy in the library when the first guy.
Right. And I also feel too like I want to like it helps to move the story. Like, yeah, I mean, you know what? I know this guy's gonna probably end up betraying us.
Yeah,
but it's gonna move the story forward, so it's fine.
Yeah, like when he started to walk away, I immediately was like, I want to cast Entangle, but then I waited because I was like, hey, maybe we should talk this out first.
He passed all like so he was hanging out behind shelves while you were talking, and he rolled a stealth check, and none of your past it beat all your past perceptions, and you weren't looking.
Oh.
Yeah,
so that's where he overheard that you were. He was the one who wanted to get the book. Like I was trying to get a hint, like, oh, it's really popular, but I can't let people leave with it. And so, like, you convinced he wanted to get that book, but they wouldn't let him. So he kind of hung around you, and then like he rolled a sleight of hand to steal it, and it beat your passive perception also. And then
oh wow.
Yeah, I was hoping that one of those times it would pass. Yeah, because your passive perception is 15, but he's a spy. Like he has a
yeah.
But it makes
sleight of
sense.
hand.
Cool.
Like we're
I
sitting
didn't
here.
realize you were like playing.
We're all trying to like,
yeah.
Billy's really good at that, doing those things behind the scenes and making those and remembering and making those happen, which I love.
Yeah.
But like, it makes sense to me that we're sitting there focusing on reading a book and stuff. Like we're not going to notice a spy behind the bookshelves. Like that's totally trackable to me.
You feel safe. You're in a library that's like, why would you be on guard?
Yeah, and then like the point I want to kind of like drive home here is, I really appreciate that we're at a place in our gameplay where we're not thinking about those meta game type things like, oh, everywhere around us there's enemies in danger. Like, that's not necessarily how real people would be in these situations. So I just think it's fun that we're, I guess, like more in that style. It just feels more organic, I guess.
Yeah, because a lot of times that'll just grind the story down. Like you said earlier, like this guy might be shady, but it gets us to the next like scene. So let's do it. Let's like let this play out. Like, but also sometimes like they just need ways to get you out of the scene, and the way is like, oh, I'll show you, and that person is like totally on the up and up.
And that's fine too, because like in this situation, the metagaming that I was doing was like, let's get Eric's character into the game.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I know, and I knew that he was going to be helpful, and that's why I had it worked in my head that there's a bunch of different ways that you could catch him. But then when he started to walk away, like luckily you took something out of your pack, because if you were just hanging out there and like waving to him bye, he was gone. He was like you would have had to track him down, like. Or you would have had to, because he's like, and even then, like I was making up things on the wagon. He's, the connector thing seems to be broken. I was waiting for you to be like, I look at it to see if I can help fix it.
Yeah.
And nobody did. They're like, okay, yeah, that's broken. That sounds
Leander
good.
doesn't
It
know
is
anything
broken.
about fixing wagons.
I know. But
Soans was picking it up.
Yeah.
And Stardy's a
waiting for
fucking
somebody
druid.
Yeah.
I was talking about a horse. That's my bad.
Waiting for anybody to. But that's right. That's how it could have worked. You guys are all just like, yeah, okay. Like you're all just once
So
again fish out of
funny.
water. That like he was just like, oh, this is real easy. Oh, I'll come back to grab you stuff, and then like.
That is so funny because like the first like minor enemy almost won, almost like completed his goals, and we're just twiddling our thumbs.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about this adventure so far was just it was very like for me like fun and lighthearted and I guess casual, but also I guess it's hard for me to like put a finger on it, but
yeah,
just the interactions and banter in between I think was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, that's why it was fun. Like the combat was easy. You were never gonna lose to him.
Yeah.
But that inflection point was really, I think, the star of that encounter of like, okay, Billy was doing a good job of like trying to pose an empathetic adversary and trying to like sway, Soanes over to his side. And I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun. It's like he posed like a good enough. Like it was, I obviously like I know as Eric, like technically I can't even hit you other guys. Like rules is written, I can't attack you. Also I know that like you were my teammates in this, but so it was like a weird because I wanted to be conflicted because it was like it actually was like a good, as far as Soans knows, like it was a good like. What's the word? Like not exactly plea, but like a good like way to convince me, like retelling of the story. Like he doesn't know that. I don't think Soans knows that. Like I don't remember.
Well, you just met these people. Like you don't know anything about the situation.
Yeah, he was trying to do good, and so yeah, I mean he had a high persuasion, and he's a spy, so that's what he does. Like he's not really a combat guy. He's not an assassin. So he was trying to like persuade you, like, oh look, they're not that much better than I am. Like, and I knew that I did it to you because like your motivation is you just trying to do good. So like I wasn't trying to convince anybody else. It's just like, but that's really fun. Like when you write a character that his motivation is I want to do good, you can do those things that like how.
Yeah, I mean it's good. Yeah, exactly. You get into like the philosophy of it.
Yeah.
Well, I did like you use like the thematic stuff to like push through his motivation to like continue the fight though,
Yeah.
Oh, it was absolutely like I did not expect you to do charm person. I expected like as soon as you found out what his plans were, he was going to stab one of you.
Oh.
And he was going to and then he was going to try to run away with the map. Like that's what he does. He tries to but then the other guy copied the map. That's why he didn't have the chance to run away because you could have just found him.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like like he's like, oh, I got to stay here and kill you, at least that guy, and try to take back the map. So that's what he was going to try to do is kill Leander and steal the map and then run away.
Nice. What I love about go ahead, Eric.
Because his original goal wasn't to kill anybody; it's just to get the map. So you can wound them and run away, and that's your goal is complete.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I love about this whole situation is it brings like I think at least 2 or 3 of the episodes or talks we've had recently together, like Billy taking the thematic stuff from backgrounds and just bringing it into the story to create conflicted scenarios for the characters. I think that's that's amazing.
But
then also like in the character creation talk that we had, kind of bringing those things into the characters. We created these characters for each other, but we also kind of added our own, inspiration and creativity on top of that. So it kind of brings those things together. And then with our talk about, kind of elevating the combat experiences within D&D, Billy bringing that conflicted, scenario, it made the combat so much more engaging, I think, for all of us. Like we had to we're not fighting with our fists anymore. We're fighting with our words.
Yeah. And it felt like weirdly more real. Like, sometimes you may get into a little like quick scuffle and they'd be like, whoa, 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 what about this? No, motherfucker, this man, like, like you do talk a lot in like fights. Like there are like trying to de-escalate, trying to re-escalate or deflect, and all of these, different like verbal jujitsu that goes on.
Yeah.
In altercations also.
One fight in Dragon Ball Z lasts 20 goddamn episodes.
Yeah.
It's all just posturing and talking.
Also, the last thing I want to say for this is just, Billy, I also appreciate you being super flexible with the encounter rules when those things happen and just kind of letting it play out organically instead of being so stickler to the rules and, basically like stifling that organic role playing. Like, thank you for just like reading the table that way.
The role playing should always be first. So if you have to table the combat to do good role playing, I'll do that 100% of the time, every time, because your role playing shouldn't get in the way of combat. I would, if anybody in the middle of a conversation, if one of you wanted like to swing at him, that's too, like in the middle of conversation, like fuck this, and you swing at him. Yeah, that's cool. Like, well, nobody was attacking. You're having a conversation. Like you still have the initiative. You just were taking a break.
I'm smacking everybody I entangle from now on.
I just love that she just gave him a good thwack.
A 1-2.
Yeah. Oh, you see that? She's the aggressor. You see, I'm just being a nice guy.
Used it against me.
Yeah, that was perfect. And that voice. I'm sad that this guy's gone because I love that voice.
I could maybe think about another voice.
Character, like not even the voice, not just the voice, the character of they'll go, I don't know, maybe it's this, and then
I'm kind of sad he's dead.
If a necromancer happens to come upon his body and reanimate him, he could be a zombie Midwesterner.
Oh, geez, a zombie marionette Midwesterner.
Yeah.
Well, that's so fun. I gotta head out though.
Yeah, no, yeah, great
I
stuff.
do too.
I got doing all the legwork on that Roll20.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also not a problem. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and thanks for the post session talk. I actually think that was good. Like, it's good content for the episode, just to kind of, I don't know, include. So that was a lot of fun. Billy, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
No problem. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, catch you next week.
All right,
later.
Bye. That's it for this post-game chat. We hope you got something from it that you can take away and apply to your games. Speaking of which, we'd love to hear about what you do to keep the story and role-playing moving at your table. Leave us a note in the comments section or shoot us a message at +1togaming, all spelled out on the social medias, or +1togaming@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.